Hi everyone and welcome to another video from Danka Praktik. In this video we'll be showing you some useful tips for getting through a power outage, also known as a blackout. As you'll see, this is not that big of a problem if you do some things on time. So stay tuned.
Danka Praktik.
This video is the first of two videos dedicated to successfully getting through a power outage. In this video we'll see how to prepare for a power outage, while the next one is about how to properly react and behave during an outage. Both are equally important, so we urge you to take a look at both. There are two basic types of power outages, short-term and long-term. Knowing this is important so you can make the proper kind of preparation. Short-term power outages usually last up to a couple of hours or less. They usually happen when there was some sort of power grid maintenance done or a repair of some kind. These kind of outages don't have that much impact on your daily life and routine, and in most cases you can get through them with what you have momentarily in the household. The other kind, the long-term power outages, are a bigger problem, especially the sudden ones that happen without any announcement. Long-term power outages usually happen during some sort of extraordinary event, like very bad weather, severe winter, severe winds, hurricanes and else, or a big malfunction in the power grid. This video is mainly meant for those long-term outages. Besides food, water is the most important thing to prepare. You perhaps don't have to do this if the infrastructure in your country allows the water supply to work without electricity. But since it isn't that much work, we would recommend doing it just in case. You should have water prepared for two main purposes, for drinking and for domestic purposes like cooking, washing, using the bathroom or else. For drinking water, you can pour some tap water into bottles, but for long-term usage, having bottled water is better since it's treated for longer storage and perhaps safer for drinking. For domestic purposes, keep water in whatever you can. Buckets, pots, cans, or even the bathtub, if you have one, is a good solution. If you're going to use this water for cooking, make sure to previously boil it just in case. Regarding water, the more you can store the better. It's easy to spill later, but it's a big problem if you don't have enough. Since there will be no electricity, your refrigerators and freezers can stay cold for only a couple of hours. If the outage lasts longer, days for instance, whatever food you have in them may get spoiled and dangerous to eat. Because of this, canned and dry food is the best option for a longer power outage. Not only do they have a long shelf life and are pretty resistant to temperature changes, but are also caloric. For most of these, you can even cook a good and tasty meal. Some recommendations would be various canned meat, beans, corns, various kinds of pasta, or else. If the power outage lasts longer, you should have some sort of additional stove for cooking a meal, coffee, tea, or else. From experience, one of the best solutions is a portable gas burner or a gas stove with cartouches. It's convenient for storage, easy to use and set up, and will enable you to start cooking or heating up in no time. Make sure you have a good supply of the standard batteries you need for the lighting and appliances. Besides this, having a bigger battery at hand, like the mentioned car battery or some sort of power bank, is even better. With them, you can run appliances for a longer time. Even better, and if you have the option, you can combine the batteries with an alternative power source like solar power and have a winning combination. This is very important, and without it, you'll be essentially blind once the night comes. Prepare flashlights. LEDs are the best since they use much less power but give great lighting, but also candles just in case. Don't forget to prepare a good supply of matches or lighters for lighting the candles. Whatever you choose, make sure to have a couple of these so you can illuminate different parts of the house and be able to move around. If you want to be really well prepared regarding lighting, then an option with a bigger battery, like from a car for instance, is very good. You can hook numerous lights onto it that will illuminate almost as good as when you have electricity. Having a fully charged and functional phone is crucial during a power outage. Your smartphone may be the only way of communication and getting information about what's wrong with the electric supply, especially if the power outage happens suddenly. This goes double if you don't have a telephone landline. To avoid having these kinds of problems, make sure to have at least one spare and fully charged power bank in the house. Another very good alternative is to have a charger in the car. If the power outage lasts really long, you might run out of power for the phones. Without electricity, the internet of course won't work either. This may easily leave you without any source of information, meaning you won't know when the outage is going to be fixed, why it happened, or other important events. In this case, the good old radio is the solution. Whatever happens, there's a good probability that some radio station will work and you'll certainly get some sort of information on what's happening. A simple pocket-size, battery-powered radio will do the job just fine. If the power outage is happening during the winter, ensure some sort of heating source. A great solution is the mentioned wood-burning stove. If you have the possibility of using one in your household, we highly recommend it as it's a great alternative for cooking and a great source of heating. Other options are portable furnaces and heaters that run on natural gas, petrol, batteries, or else. But if you don't have any of these or don't have the time to prepare, then at least provide lots of warm blankets, clothing, sleeping bags, and else that will keep you warm. Clothing isn't that important, but is certainly worth mentioning. Know that without electricity, the heating, but also the cooling will not work. Depending in what climate season the power outage happens, you may be either too hot or too cold. Most of us have ready clothes for all seasons, but especially if the outage is not announced and is happening during colder weather or during winter, check out the wardrobe and make sure you have the proper clothes. For the last thing, which is perhaps the best but also most expensive solution for a power outage, and that is an electric generator. You can of course get through the power outage without it, but if you have the chance, buy one. Trust me, it will be a good investment, especially if you face frequent or longer power outages. More or less, with the generator, you don't have to worry. This of course mainly goes for households which have the option for storage and connecting a generator. Depending on the generator, it can power the most basic appliances all the way to pretty much the whole household. Besides the generator, you have to have enough fuel for it and make sure that it's well maintained so it can start at a moment's notice. Also, make sure that the generator meets the characteristics of your house's electric installations. The name of the game to survive a power outage is preparation. Good preparation means the difference between getting through the outage with minor or no problems and getting into one problem after another. Trust me, problems caused by a lack of electricity surface one by one and get worse as the time without electricity lasts longer. Furthermore, all of this may seem a bit complicated, but once you get through the whole list, you'll see it's more a matter of checking your household stock than having to go and buy things. Most of these items you might already have. All you need is to check on them and see if they're usable and in good order. Even the ones you have to buy, except the generator, are pretty cheap. With all of this ready and at hand, a power outage can happen at any time, with or without prior knowledge, and you'll have nothing to worry about. So that's it for this video. In the next video, you can watch how to react and behave during a power outage. Please like and subscribe, it's a huge help for what we're doing. Thanks for watching and thanks for your time.